for a disability deep dive. And if you're watching on my YouTube channel, welcome back to Missy Peabody. Today's episode is going to be a little bit different because Hannah is not my co-host this time around. This time I have my friend Natalie and
Hello.
my adopted woman Heidi. So I'm so happy to have her, and today we are going to be talking about Aiden Hooper and disability. So if
Yeah.
you want to hear about that, stick around. I would love you to like this video if you're on my YouTube channel, subscribe and leave a comment because I'm sure Natalie and I both will enjoy reading your comments.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, so do you want to introduce yourself, Natalie?
Sure. So my name is Natalie Fung. I am 29 years old. I am a member of the Rolettes dance team, and I am from Los Angeles, California, and I am a C5 quadriplegic from a car accident.
Nice. So, yeah, stick around because it's going to be an interesting topic. And I'm so happy you're my co-host this time around.
I know. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, sure. Natalie is also my mentor at Boundless Faith Society.
Yes, it's so fun.
Yeah, so my question is, I know you have a kind of short injury. Do you want to explain your journey?
Yeah, so I do have a spinal cord injury, and I got that when I was a senior in college. I was going to the University of Southern California at the time, and I was on track to graduate a semester early. I was in my fall semester, decided to take a trip to Las Vegas with my friends, and unfortunately, while we were there, we got into a cab, and a drunk driver hit the cab, and I ended up breaking my neck.
Bummer. Yeah, don't drink and drive.
Definitely not.
Yeah, my sister Natalie and I, we don't drive.
Yeah, I'm not, unfortunately not.
But they're all hand control, and I know you're looking into that
Yes,
now.
I am. Hopefully, I'll be able to drive again.
Yeah, that would be nice. I'm waiting for a robotic car to come out.
Yes, the self-driving. I know.
Yeah,
I kind of just want to wait for that too.
yeah, because I took robotic in my freshman year of high school, and my robotic system, it won't be born until you are driving this train. And I did see on Facebook a robotic car that actually moves up your wheelchair on its own
Oh, wow, that's
to,
really cool.
to an
I haven't seen
app.
that.
But you have to use their wheelchair in the car. They have a wheelchair that it works with.
Oh, it needs to be a manual chair? Is that what you said?
It needs to be with their technology, whatever that means.
Oh, gotcha.
I wish it was everything.
I know.
That would be convenient, but it's coming. Yeah, my second is, I know you're an Asian American and in one of I'm off my track. I'm sorry. In one of how you how in your disability in general or disability from old age is often looked down upon. Do you want to explain why that is and a little bit about it?
Yeah, so I wouldn't say disability from old age because our elders are very, very respected and they're like the most important people in our culture. So not from old age, but definitely disability in general. Like it's very kind of shameful to have a disability and it's something that you want to hide. And a lot of people with disabilities in China, like they don't leave their houses. For one reason, because not a lot of things are accessible, and another reason because it's just not something that is very out in the open. yet. And yeah, unfortunately, that's how I experienced it. And, I don't think it's only Asian culture that is like that, but I think it is something that is prevalent.
Yeah, I definitely maybe I do have another friend who Aiden and her mom kind of like afraid her disability. I would
Mm,
say, yeah, and
that's sad.
it's very interesting. You think in 2021 that
Mhm.
something they would hang or think about hanging in their belief system.
Yeah, unfortunately, disability civil rights hasn't really reached over there yet.
But
Hopefully soon.
hopefully, yeah, I
Yeah.
would really hope so.
They
Because,
need their own Judy Human.
yeah, it's really interesting because there's so many YouTube channels like mine, will have, I think, and I was looking at I was looking at my demographic, and my channel haven't really reached over there yet either. That's
Mhm.
really interesting to me how it haven't some areas or like I have a ton of viewers from the United Kingdom, but
Mhm.
that's the only area I have viewers in that in America.
Yeah, even with the Rolettes, we've realized that, we've reached a lot of people around the world in Europe, South America, Central
But
America, Australia, but we haven't really reached people in Asia yet.
that's really interesting.
Yeah.
You guys are really, really big.
Yeah, so, hopefully we're hoping to reach out to some people and, I wish sometimes that I could do more, but unfortunately, I'm not very good at speaking Chinese. I am Chinese American,
Right.
and so I'm not the best at speaking Chinese,
Uh-huh.
and I think if I could, that would be so helpful to reaching that area.
Right.
So, working on it.
Yeah, me too. I'm working on it too, and I'm trying to, outweigh the disability awareness over there because
Yeah.
I think that would be very important.
And I'm sure like the people there, like just like the people in the US need support as well.
Right. I wonder what kind of support is over there.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I really don't know. I haven't been back to Asia since my accident, but I really want to go.
Oh, nice. So, are you the only one that missed in the U.S. or?
Of my family?
Yeah. Mhm.
No, my whole family is here.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so luckily like all my family is here.
That's nice. Yeah.
Mhm.
I know I have some who are also in and all their and I mean all their family are back in Asia.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. Luckily, like, yeah, all my aunts and uncles, like my cousins, everyone's
That,
here.
that's nice.
Yeah, it is nice.
Yeah. Okay, being ignorant has your view on disability and Norm has changed.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that one more time?
Yeah, being ignorant has your view on disability or your Norm changed.
Um, yes, I used to definitely, I think a lot of people feel like this when, when you're not born with your disability and you get injured after, being able-bodied and not knowing the life of a disabled person, because I was very ignorant before my injury. I didn't know anybody with a disability. And so I think that was something that a lot of people go through, in the beginning, you feel very ashamed of your disability. You feel very, you know, like sad, and it's just not a good time. And definitely as time went on, like meeting all these people, amazing people in the disability community and seeing how people can still live full and happy lives, like it's definitely really changed my view being a part of this community.
Yeah, I mean, even when I I was born with cerebral palsy, disability, and even as I got older, my view about disability changed. Even
Yeah.
though I was, because when you're middle, your parents do everything for you, you know.
Mhm.
They set up the play day and the therapy session and the doctor appointment and the play activity, you know. But as you get older, you, especially in high school, I noticed it's really hard to know people,
Mhm.
like able-bodied people, because they're definitely terrified of your disability, or
Mhm.
they don't know that you are like not on disability or mental disability. So
Exactly.
you, it's kind of on you to stand up and own your disability and be like,
Exactly.
hey, I have cerebral palsy. Here's what I need, and here's how you can best assist
Mhm.
me. So by doing that, my view has really changed. As I got older, I was so used to my parents just adding me in. I did the brownie program with the house program, and I was in there, and I was
Uh-huh.
automatically accepted in my elementary school because my parents would come in, for birthday party and all that. So I was automatically accepted there. But man, when you hit high school and adulthood, it's on you to own your disability.
Yeah, I can't even imagine because high school already in itself is such a hard time,
Right.
like for anybody, and going through it with a disability and people are looking at you differently and navigating that while, growing up and trying to figure out what to do with your life. I can't even imagine.
And that's why I started my YouTube channel. No one was listening to the idea that I only had a walker, not a mental disability. And so
Hmm.
I was like, maybe I'll show them how normal my life is. Uh,
Exactly, because you're
uh,
still a smart person.
right. And
Yeah.
I don't need much. I just need help transferring and
Hmm.
driving and bathroom, you know. So,
Just physical things.
yep, as long as people started to understand that, I was good.
Hmm.
I started knowing out with two of my best friends in eighth grade, and then they moved away to college. And then I had to start over all the new people, and now I go out all the time with everybody else. And then I
That's
have
awesome.
my disabled community who
Hmm.
about the same society, because I only know one other person in my community in a walker.
Oh, wow. I
Yeah,
didn't know that. Well, and then I'm so glad that you have BBS then and that you could meet a lot more
yeah.
people.
Yeah, me too. I know people in wheelchairs and stuff like that, but no one my disability except for that one person. It's,
Mm.
it's hating. And then I'm in BBS, and like I feel like a lot of BBS people have cerebral palsy.
Yeah, a lot. We have a lot of different disabilities in BBS, which I love because, starting out as a spinal cord injury, I only knew people with spinal cord injuries at first.
Right.
And then I started learning about a lot more disabilities when I joined Rolettes.
Yep, that's the opposite of me. I learned about every other disability. and
Really?
yep, and then I met a whole bunch of people in BBS with cerebral palsy, and I'm like, oh man, there are other adults with cerebral palsy too. You often see Minnesotans and their parents running Instagram account, when they're
Mhm.
tired with cerebral palsy, but no adult.
Oh, interesting.
That that's very interesting to me. Like it's all off the planet of the Earth when you're an adult. Very weird.
Mm, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Now, my next question is: do you feel a disability in who will paying or want to paying as disability is more widely accepted? Why or why not?
I definitely think so. You know, it's just going to take time, like a lot of other
Right.
things, unfortunately. You know, even in the US, it kind of just started happening to see that we've been seeing more disability representation and more disability pride because, you know, like I have not been injured as long as Chelsea, but Chelsea
Right.
has been injured for 10, I think maybe 11 years now. And she said in the beginning of her injury, it wasn't a thing to be proud of your disability. You know, people didn't use the word disabled to describe
Right.
themselves. And so it's things have just been changing very, very recently. And
Yeah.
it's very exciting to see.
Yeah.
And I really do hope that it spreads more to other parts of the world where disability is less accepted.
Me too. I saw my very first advertisement at Target. Someone with arm tester.
At
But
Target?
yeah,
Awesome. Yeah, Target is great with their representation for
yeah,
sure.
yeah. But that was the first ad I actually saw that wanted for the runway swing with an adaptive fashion show.
Oh, so because obviously, like we've seen some people in wheelchairs, like Steph at Ulta.
Right.
Yeah, but so that was your first time seeing arm crutches?
Yep. Mhm.
That's awesome.
I seen about I do see about a wheelchair, around, but I'm like, where on the walker? Where on the
Yeah.
arm? Where, but where the braces? Where is for that? Because that makes more prominent too, like a prominent wheelchair.
Yeah.
It
There's
should
so
be
many different
there.
mobility devices.
Yeah. So I was very excited to see that.
That's awesome. Yes, Target is so great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was like, yay, it's not in a magazine and it's not adapted. Like I see advertisement in adapted magazine before, but
Mhm.
not like in the actual tour.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
love seeing it too.
me too. Um, in your opinion, what are some ways to normalize disability?
First of all, I would say infrastructure, you know, making sure your roads are accessible, making sure, you know, people can actually get around on your roads because
Yeah,
unfortunately, like a lot of countries, it's hard because they don't have the money to spend on their roads and fixing all that stuff. So it does take money, but also like look how fast we pulled everything together during the pandemic, you know? Like
right,
things changed so fast because of one little thing. And I think that can definitely happen around the world too. Like, you know, just building the right kind of ramps, the ramps that, because,
yeah,
you know, I've been to another country since my accident, not in Asia, but the ramps were literally 45 degrees. It was impossible to be able to roll up on your own. And so just having
wow,
the right accessibility would be amazing and just getting more people with disabilities out of their houses and you know having people visually see people with disabilities instead of
right,
thinking no one has a disability because I don't see them, but it's like no, they're staying at home because they can't get around on the streets.
right,
And yeah, so I would say that, and of course representation is so important. Like it's crazy how much the media and like you know TV movies and everything influences how people think,
right,
and it's a huge influence. And so you know when we spend so much of our time right now on the internet and watching TV
right,
and movies and doing all those things, that's where we spend our time. That's what we spend our time watching. And so if we see it, then that's something that we'll get more used to seeing, but
right.
right now people aren't seeing it.
Yeah, and make sure it's accurate representation.
Yes, accurate representation, you know, and that comes with getting more people with disabilities into higher leadership roles, making sure they're the ones that are making the decisions and saying, hey, we need a person with a disability to be represented in this way because this is how it is accurately represented, not
Yeah,
just an able-bodied person putting another able-bodied person in a wheelchair because they
right.
think that's representation.
Yeah, accurate representation. I mean, from the short film is directed by Natasha Mania and for an inner beat about somebody with autism.
Oh, I haven't seen that one.
Yeah, I can text it to you.
Awesome.
They can ask me direction. I met her. I DM'd her to be on my YouTube channel after it. I thought it was.
So cool.
I thought it was so wonderful. I have to find the director.
Yeah,
I have to, and I did, and now we're friends.
that's so cool. I love that.
Yes, I was
Um,
like, oh my god, I have to find her.
did you like the TV show Speechless?
Yeah, I loved
I
it.
I thought it was hilarious. I really liked it too.
Yeah, I wish it was coming back.
I know. There's no more, but it was good while it lasted.
Yeah, and then my last question is there anything that you will want more to know about being a Asian American with a disability?
Um, there's a lot going on with the Asian American community right now with all of the attacks happening and there's just a lot of violence and hatred against the Asian American community, which is very, very sad to see. And especially to see people targeting our elders who are the most important people in our culture is just very, very heartbreaking. And people who are, when they're attacking like 60, 70, 80-year olds, they can't defend themselves. And it doesn't really have to do specifically with disability, but it you know I kind of used to have that feeling like, oh, they're not going to hit someone in a wheelchair. And then I saw a video of a young man kicking an old woman or an old man who was sitting on his seated walker, and he just
I
kicked him over.
saw that on the news, and I thought it was the most revolting thing I ever seen.
Yeah, and it just is heartbreaking to see, and to think that that could happen to my family members and other people who look like me. It's scary, and it's just a really sad time. And I think it's more important than ever now to really uplift the community, the Asian American community, and to just really band together and hopefully be united as Americans, because that's what
Right,
we all, or not even as Americans, be united as human beings,
right,
because we don't treat other human beings that way.
right.
Yeah,
Definitely, I agree. No matter who you are, treat others like you want to be treated.
exactly.
Because I have even like this one thing, if you have your view, keep them to yourself if they're bad. Don't
Hmm.
don't tell them with the word, and certainly don't tell them in a harmful way. That,
Yeah, it's really sad right now to see a lot of the violence. And with the
that
shootings going on, there's like the shootings in 2021 have just been
right.
crazy because
Yeah,
everyone was locked up during quarantine and now they're out again, and the first thing they want to do is unfortunately cause violence.
yeah. It's just that thing I can't even turn on the news anymore.
Yeah.
Yep. No, thank you. I'll turn it on another day.
Yeah, it's
I mean,
hard.
the only news I watched was LA today from the wrestling.
Uh-huh.
I pulled it up on my laptop and I muted half of it because I couldn't stand it. I was
Oh.
mute until I come on.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's just, it seems like I don't watch my news, I read my news.
Right,
And it just seems like every day there's a new attack, a new shooting.
right.
Just There's just always
Or
that
they're
advantage going
going
on.
back to old ones too,
Yeah.
on trial and
Hmm.
whatnot.
Yeah. I mean, the whole George Floyd trial going on right now is something that is really
Right,
captivating the country.
right. Yeah, I've been reading about that and seeing it on the news.
Hmm.
So
So
yeah.
yeah, yeah, there's a lot going on, but we're hopeful for the future and hopefully things will get better.
Oh, they definitely will.
Yes,
With,
you're so positive. I love
with,
it.
with everything going around on social media and whatnot. Like positive. I know another YouTube friend of mine is doing support Aiden's own businesses.
That's awesome. I
So
love
after every video, he'll put a link down below to all Aiden's own businesses.
that. Aw,
Yeah, so that's
yeah,
nice. I
that is really nice.
Yeah, so if you like this video, remember to thumbs up. If you like listening to the podcast, consider subscribing to it because we come up with episodes every month. And they're very, very interesting topics. So I highly recommend you stick around and listen to other topics. And thank you, Natalie, for being my co-host today. It was fun.
Yes, thank you so much, Anna. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I love doing this. I love hearing people's story, and I meet so many amazing people by doing this.
Yeah, and I feel like I learned more about you too. I learned some things that I didn't know before.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Yep. So I will see you in my next video and my next podcast. Bye bye.
Bye.